Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me on my e-commerce journey. And today I want to talk to you about market research because I have launched products in the past without doing market research, and I can tell you it was an absolute disaster for me. And I've also had people come to me for, to build them a website where they have had a brainy idea and they've done absolutely no market research, and it's made me hesitant to take on the project because people expect that magic will happen, but if you haven't done your market research, you can wind up with a bit of a problem. And not a bit of a problem, you can wind up with a huge problem because you need to understand the market that you are going to be launching into. So I just wanted to do a video on how to do your market research for your e-commerce business, how to identify your target audience, your market niche, perform a competitor analysis, and understand your customer behavior and preferences. So I'm going to start off with identifying your target audience and your market niche. So what am I really talking about there? I think it's very important to understand that when you're launching a product, you have to know who you are launching it to. So you need to start by defining your product or service. So the first step is basically to clearly define what your product or service is going to do. What is it going to offer? This is going to help you to narrow down your focus and identify the type of customer that's going to be most likely interested in what you have to offer. So picking a niche is an entire topic, but let's put it this way. If you are selling a garden product, are you selling it to people who garden just generally, plant flowers? Are you aiming it towards vegetable gardeners? Are you aiming it towards vegetable gardeners that specifically grow certain vegetables? So you got to basically figure that out. So figure out who you can serve. So that's the first thing. Now you can use different market research tools to identify the size and the demographics of your potential audience. You're going to look at things like age, gender, income, location, and interests. One of my favorite tools for that is Google Trends. You can go on there, type in the location that you're based in, put in your product, some of the uses of your product, and actually see what the trends are. And I think that's very, very important because you want to understand things, even like seasonality of your product, and Google Trends is a great tool for that. The next thing you want to do is really analyze your competition, and I'm going to go into more detail about this in a minute. But pretty much, you want to look at your competitors' websites, their social media profiles, and other marketing materials, and see what kind of audience they are targeting. So that will give you a better idea of how you can differentiate yourself from them and apply to a specific market niche. So the last thing before I go on is going to be, you need to create buyer personas. A lot of people call them avatars, and really this is where you're going to use the information that you've gathered to create buyer personas that represent your ideal customers. This will help you to better understand their needs, preferences, and behavior. And what I'm really talking about is, you've got a product, you think it's great, but you got to figure out, you're not selling this product to yourself. So you've got to figure out who is actually the person, picture the person that's going to buy your product. Where do they live? How old are they? Are they a specific gender? And try to build a very, very clear picture of who's going to be buying your product, because if you don't have that, it's going to be very, very difficult to market to them because you don't know who you're even marketing to. The second thing is the next sort of segment, I'd say, is competitor analysis. So you need to identify your competitors. You need to look at other e-commerce businesses that offer similar products or services to yours, both indirect competitors and direct competitors. And this is something that I think is crucial. I spoke to a businessman years ago who said he doesn't care about his competition. And when I started one of my failed businesses in the past, I thought, we've got this great product and we're going to launch it and it's beautiful and people will love it. And I didn't even look at what my competitors were doing. And I feel that that was a huge mistake. It was a huge mistake because turns out our competitors were very well established with deep, deep pockets, much more budget for advertising than us. And they had very good pricing, and that turned out to be a failed business. So don't make my mistake. Make sure that you actually do analyze your competitors. So you want to basically evaluate their strengths, their weaknesses, identify what they're doing well, where they're falling short. If you feel that they've got a product but they're falling short somewhere, you can capitalize on that by possibly doing a better product, maybe better pricing. It's really how you're going to identify opportunities for your own business. And in terms of your competitor analysis as well, you need to look at how you can differentiate yourself from your competitors. So you're going to gather as much information on them as possible. And it could be through, you're basically going to need to differentiate yourself through pricing, messaging, or the specific products or services that you offer. So to give you a concrete example of how one of the ways that I do competitor analysis is very, very specific. I pick, where am I wanting to sell my stuff? Where it can't be vague. You've got to be very specific, especially initially. Are you wanting to sell your stuff on Google Shopping? Are to sending people through to your own website? Are you going to be selling it on Amazon? Whatever platform or way that you're going to be selling your product, go do a search on that platform. So for example, if you're going to be sending traffic to your website on Google Shopping, go look at your competitors on Google Shopping, see what their products are, see what their pricing is, see how your product is different. The same thing with a lot of the big e-commerce platforms. So for me, I think that's an absolute critical thing. In fact, I would pretty much do that before I even select what product I'm going to sell. Again, it's bitten me many, many times where I did not do a competitive analysis. I didn't look at what my competitors are selling or how much they're selling it for, and that has come back to bite me repeatedly. So again, don't make my mistakes. Go in and do your competitive analysis. It can be disheartening sometimes because you get a bit emotionally attached to something that you really think is great, and then you find that, well, actually you can't possibly compete with your competitors. But rather take that sting in the initial stages of market research, rather than when you've just paid for 2,000 units of a product that you now can't sell. And as a last step for your market research, basically, it's not something that's just initial before you get started with your business. It's also going to be something that's ongoing. So let's say you've got a website, you are going to analyze your website data. You're going to use your analytics tools to track your website traffic, conversions, and other important metrics. This will help you to understand how your customers are interacting with your site. So on your own website, you could be using something like Google Analytics. I highly recommend it because you're going to gain a lot of insights from that. If you're running Google ads, for example, you can look at your Google ads. If you're running Facebook ads, look at that. They all give you data, and you need to get to grips with that data, and it actually becomes quite exciting and quite addictive to look at it. If you're selling on Amazon, same story. Go into the analytics and look at what keywords are driving conversions, and really understand how people are interacting with your listings, with your site. If at all possible, you do want to gather customer feedback. So you're going to use surveys, reviews, and other feedback tools to gather insights into your customers' needs, preferences, and behavior, to help you identify areas where you may need to improve your products or services. So a first-hand experience in this is really customer reviews. A lot of the platforms that you can sell on, you can get customer reviews. And in the beginning, I was very scared of them. And now I see them as an amazing thing, because firstly, it makes you think. You have to sell quality. Online, it's very, very competitive and cutthroat, and you do need to have great pricing, but you can't sell garbage. You really need to be selling good quality products, because reviews can make or break your business. I had a product recently that we really did a great marketing campaign. I mean, we had great advertising, we had great branding, we had a great, exciting product. I went out and I made some fantastic videos for it, and it blasted off. I mean, we just sold hundreds and hundreds of units right off the bat. And there had been two different options for quality of the product that we could buy. And we selected to go with the lower one because it was cheaper and we could enter the market at a better price point. As it turned out, that was great for the first batch, and then it absolutely tanked when the bad reviews started to come in. So now, pretty much, I'm sitting with 1,000 product labels that I can do nothing with because we pretty much had to discontinue that product. So I think that the the big takeaway there is that really you can get feedback, and that feedback is critical to knowing whether your product is, how it's doing in the market, who wants it, who doesn't want it. One way that you can do that as well is just to monitor your social media channels, see what customers are saying about your business and your competitors. It's going to help you identify trends. It's going to help you identify customer preferences. And then the last thing I would say in terms of doing market research on an ongoing basis is to stay up to date. So you need to keep up with the latest trends and changes in your industry. This will help you to stay ahead of the curve and identify new opportunities for your business. And that's really, really important because we live in an age of change. And especially in e-commerce, change is it's an absolute given. You have to be adaptable and you have to stay up to date. So once you've done what I've described now, I think it will put you on a good in a good position to move your products forward and to carry on. What I will do is I'll do some videos on more specifics, how to use the analysis tools and that sort of thing. But as I've said in a previous video, I do think that a higher level of data literacy can really help you in this business. So learn how to analyze data if you've never done it before. There's a lot of things you can play with. Build a website, look at Google Analytics. If you've got an Amazon account, seller account, go into the analytics, dig deep. And even before you start, look at your competition, look at what they're doing. And yeah, that's it. So I hope that this video helps you to do your market research for your e-commerce business. And just remember, even when it gets tough, keep pushing towards your goals.